Single parenting can feel like a solo journey, but it doesn't have to be. Introducing MomFlex app, the ultimate village web app designed just for you. From financial support to community connections, MomFlex app offers a lifeline, helping you navigate parenting with confidence. Find trusted resources, build your support network, and thrive, because every parent deserves a village. Join the movement today. Visit momflex.org to install the app and take the first step toward a stronger, more supported you. MomFlex app, because you're never alone.
Welcome back to Beyond the Struggle, Rise and Thrive, the podcast where we dive deep into the stories, the soul work, and the unseen forces that shape who we are as we rise from the struggle into our greater self. I'm your host, and today's episode is one I have been holding close to my heart for quite some time. It's tender, it's layered, and for some of you, it might even be a little uncomfortable at first. But I invite you to stay open. Today, we are exploring a soul-stirring question. Did our children choose us before the womb? This might sound metaphysical or even mystical, and that's okay. We are stepping beyond biology, beyond what we have been taught in textbooks, and into the realm of soul contracts, divine timing, and spiritual agreements. Let's start with a powerful belief held in many spiritual and indigenous traditions. Children choose their parents, not randomly, not by accident, but with intention. Before our soul enters the physical world, it scans the landscape of possibilities. It surveys the lives of potential parents, not for perfection, but for alignment. Alignment with what the soul needs to grow, to heal, to experience, to remember who it truly is. And here's something we often forget. We may ask to become parents, but we don't choose the exact souls that answers. It is the child, the soul who says, yes, that's the one, that's where I'm going. Even in the moment of conception, when millions of sperms are racing towards one egg, it's not just a biological lottery. What if that race isn't just about speed or strength? What if it's about spiritual readiness? A soul calling itself into form, saying, it's time. I'm ready to become this mother's child. I am ready to walk this path. This lens radically shifts how we view parenting. Your child didn't just happen to you. They chose you. They didn't choose you because you had everything right. They chose you because your journey, your light, your shadows hold keys to their becoming. And your growth will be shaped by theirs too. So when a child says, I didn't ask to be born, they may be speaking from pain, confusion, or moment of disconnection. But deep within their soul, there is a remembrance. They chose, they did choose. Just as we choose our own parents. And if we sit with that truth, we begin to see our families not just as random clusters of DNA, but as sacred assignments. So stay tuned, because in this episode, we will explore stories, ancestral teachings, and even moments of spiritual insight from children who remember before the womb. And maybe by the end, you will begin to see your own journey and your children's with new eyes. Let's dive in.
Every day's a battle, every step a climb, but we're standing tall, we're building our lives. Through the sleepless nights and the endless fight, we rise, we shine, we hold on tight. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together, we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We feel you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. Stories of triumph, stories of grace. Single parents with dreams to chase. They said we'd break, they said we'd fall, but look at us now, we're standing tall. We are more than the label, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together, we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. We push through the stigma, defy every step. They don't define us, and that's a fact. A village of love, a future so bright. Hand in hand, we own our life. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive.
But what about the children we didn't get to raise? What about the ones who came through us for only a short time? Those we miscarried, those we lost before we ever heard them cry, those who took just a few breaths before leaving this earth. According to many spiritual traditions, every soul enters with intention, even if only for a moment. There is a belief that some souls don't come to stay, they come to touch, to shift, to awaken something in us. And that too is part of the soul contract. These children, those who pass in the womb, in infancy or shortly after, may not have come to live a full life, but rather to complete a specific task, offer a lesson, or catalyze a transformation in the parent or family lineage. It's hard to hear this though, through the pain or grief. It is not meant to explain away the loss or bypass the heartbreak. But if we consider that these souls knew exactly what they were doing, that they chose this previous entrance into our lives to leave behind a ripple of love, healing, or spiritual growth, it brings meaning to what otherwise feels senseless. Some teachings say these souls are guides who continue to walk with us in spirit. Others say they may return later in another pregnancy or in another form, and sometimes they come just once to remind us that love is not bound by time. So when we say our children chose us, we mean all of them. The ones we raise, the ones we lose, the ones we never make it, the ones who never make it earthside but live in our hearts. They chose us, not by mistakes, not as a punishment, but out of divine purpose and soul level love. And yes, it's heavy, especially if your journey has been marked with loss, infertility, or grief. You might still ask, why will a soul chose this, chose me, chose a path so painful? But maybe that's exactly where the healing is. Maybe the soul saw your strength, your tenderness, your heart. Maybe the soul knew you will remember them, love them, honor them, and grow in ways only that encounter could ignite. When we begin to view our children not just as biological extensions of us, but as spiritual companions on a shared path, it changes how we hold them, how we grieve them, and how we parent those who are still with us. So whether your child is in your arms, in your memory, or still waiting to come true, know this. They saw you. They chose you. And in their own way, they are still with you.
The journey is tough, but we're not alone. In this village we found our home. So lift your head, let your spirit fly. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive.
Single parenting can feel like a solo journey, but it doesn't have to be. Introducing Mom Flex app, the ultimate village web app designed just for you. From financial support to community connections, Mom Flex app offers a lifeline, helping you navigate parenting with confidence. Find trusted resources, build your support network, and thrive, because every parent deserves a village. Join the movement today. Visit momflex.org to install the app and take the first step toward a stronger, more supported you.
Single parenting doesn't have to be a solo journey.
Every day's a battle, every step a climb, but we're standing tall, we're building our lives. Through the sleepless nights and the endless fight, we rise, we shine, we hold on tight. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together, we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive.
Let me tell you about Lydia, a single mother who once shared her story with me in a way I will never forget. Lydia had her daughter Maya when she was just 19 at the time. She was in the thick of addiction, couch surfing from place to place, trying to survive in a world that often felt like it was swallowing her whole. She didn't have a road map. She didn't have a village. She barely had herself. And yet, through all of that, Maya came into the world. Maya grew up watching her mother struggle, yes, but also watching her rise again and again, through withdrawal, through shelters, through relapse, through recovery, through the quiet, unnoticed moments of progress that don't make headlines but mean everything. Years later, in a deep therapy session, Lydia found herself unraveling. She had been doing the work, unpacking her trauma, her guilt, her generational wounds, and in the middle of it, she broke down through tears. She whispered, "She didn't choose this. I felt her." It was a raw, honest moment, one many parents know too well. The unbearable way of feeling like your child deserved more than you had the capacity to give. But then her therapist paused and gently said, "What if she did choose you? What if Maya came here for you, not to escape struggle, but to witness your healing and to be part of it?" Lydia told me that moment cracked something open in her. It didn't erase the pain, but it reframed the story. She stopped parenting from guilt. She stopped defining herself by her past. She started showing up, not as a broken mother trying to compensate, but as a whole woman growing alongside her daughter. From that moment on, she began to parent with more honesty, more softness, more presence. And here's what beautiful. Today, Maya is 17. She's applying to college. She's thriving in her own way. And when people ask her who her biggest inspiration is, she says, my mom, she's my hero. Did Maya choose Lydia? Can anyone prove that in a scientific or clinical sense? No. And maybe that's not the point. What we do know is this. Believing she did gave Lydia permission to rewrite her story from shame to purpose, from regret to reverence. It helps her see herself not as a mistake, but as a sacred part of her daughter's journey and vice versa. And that's the power of this belief. Whether it's literally true or metaphorically true, it invites us to see parenting not as a punishment, but as a partnership. It invites us to ask, what if my child came through for a reason? What if I'm exactly who they needed, not because I'm perfect, but because I am real, because I am trying, because I'm healing? And if that's true, what changes in how we show up today?
Every day's a battle, every step a climb, but we're standing tall, we're building our lives. Through the sleepless nights and the endless fight, we rise, we shine, we hold on tight. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together, we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. Stories of triumph, stories of grace. Single parents with dreams to chase. They said we'd break, they said we'd fall, but look at us now, we're standing tall. We are more than the label, more than the pain, breaking the cycle.
You might be listening to this and thinking, but my child has said they wish they weren't born. They have told me that they didn't ask for this life. They blame me. They push me away. They say they hate me. And if you have heard those words from your child, I want to pause and say, I see you. That's not easy. That's the kind of pain only a parent can know. But hear this gently. Just because a child expresses pain doesn't mean the soul contract is broken. Just because there is distance, anger, or rejection on the surface doesn't mean the deeper bond is gone. Pain is often part of the path. It's messy, it's emotional, it's full of misunderstanding, and yet sometimes the child, the soul who once chose you, loses sight of their choice in the fog of their own suffering. But that doesn't mean the choice wasn't real. That doesn't mean the love isn't still there, buried beneath the noise. Let's reframe it. What if your child didn't choose you because you're perfect, but because your imperfection, your wounds, your flaws, your humanity are part of the exact lesson they came here to learn? Or perhaps, even more humbling, what if your child came to teach you something through this experience? Soul contracts don't always feel sweet. Sometimes they stretch us, break us open. Sometimes they call us to do the hardest thing, to keep loving when love isn't easy, to keep showing up when connection feels far away. to forgive ourselves even when our children haven't yet? And what if you are not supposed to have all of the answers? What if this is a classroom, not a courtroom, a place of learning, not punishment? You and your child, yes, even in the chaos, might still be doing sacred work together. You may be unraveling old generational patterns, healing ancestral wounds, or building resilience through this very pain. And sometimes we don't see the purpose of this lesson until much, much later. But here's what you can do now. You can keep showing up. You can hold space for the anger without taking it as your identity. You can stay open to repair even when the relationship feels fragile. You can remind yourself, they are hurting. I'm hurting, but the story isn't over. Because even when your child says they didn't choose this, that may just be their pain talking, not their soul. And if you can hold the belief, even quietly within yourself, that there is still a thread connecting you both, that belief can become a lifeline, not just for them, but for you too. I once read a story that stayed with me for years about a little boy whose name I can't remember right now. He was only 4 years old, full of that innocent curiosity and unexpected wisdom children seem to carry. One quiet evening, the boy was sitting next to his mother when he looked up to her and said something that would forever change how she saw herself. I picked you from the sky, he said, because you were crying and I knew you needed a little boy to help you laugh again. She froze. See, her son didn't know her story. He didn't know that before he was born, she had endured 2 painful miscarriages. He didn't know about the long nights when she cried silently in bed, wondering if she had ever become a mother. He didn't know how she fell into postpartum depression after finally giving birth, how heavy the weight of joy and grief could feel in the same breath. She had never spoken those things out loud to him. But somehow he knew. She looked at him, tears suddenly welling up in her eyes, not from sadness this time, but from reconnection. There was something in his words that cut through all her doubts, all her self-blame, all her wondering if she was enough. The little boy didn't elaborate. He didn't explain. He simply climbed into her lap, wrapped his small arms around her, and kissed her face. And just like that, she said, the air in the room changed. Not because something new had happened, but because something true had been remembered. Now, sure, you could say it was just a child's imagination. Kids say all kinds of things, right? But for her, it wasn't just pretend. It was confirmation that her child didn't come into her life by chance, that her healing wasn't something that needed to be finished before motherhood, but something that was woven into it. Her son didn't arrive after she was healed. He arrived to be part of her healing. And that changes everything. It reminds us that our children may not only be here to be cared for, but to care for us in quiet, unexpected, soul-deep ways. That they may have come not to witness our perfection, but to walk beside us in our becoming. So why does this matter? Why talk about soul contracts or the idea that children choose us before birth? Because it changes everything about how we show up as parents, as guardians, as fellow souls walking alongside the next generation. It reminds us that parenting is more than providing shelter, food, education, and guidance. We are not just caretakers of their bodies. We are companions on their soul journey. We are here not only to raise them, but to rise with them. And when we begin to see it that way, something shifts inside you. You stop asking, am I doing this right? And start asking, what are we here to learn from each other? You realize that your imperfections are not disqualification. They are invitations. Invitations to grow, to reflect, to repair. They are not proof that you are unworthy. They are the very soil where trust, humility, and deeper love takes root. The chaos, the conflict, the mistakes, they aren't sign you have failed. They are evidence that the relationship is alive, that real transformation is happening, because we are not raising children by accident. We are engaged in a relationship, even in the mess, even in the silence, even in the moments when connection feels impossible. So, next time your child says, I didn't ask to be born, and you feel your heart crack open with guilt or helplessness, take a deep breath. Listen with compassion. Let them express what they need to express. But also don't forget the unseen truth. Maybe their mind didn't ask. Maybe their heart is hurting, but their soul did. Their soul said yes. Yes to you. Yes to this life. Yes to the journey. However imperfect, however painful, however beautiful. And if that's true, then you are not failing. You are showing up to something profound, something sacred, something soul deep. And maybe that's what matters most.
We shine, we rise, we thrive. The journey is tough, but we're not alone. In this village we found our home. So lift your head, let your spirit fly. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive.
I want to leave you with two quotes by Anika Mochani and Dr. Shefali Chabari. Our children do not come to us by chance. They come to us to teach us, to challenge us, to help us grow. Sometimes they break us open so that more love can get in. And the quote by Dr. Chabari, your child isn't here to be who you want them to be. They are here to be who they already are, and they chose you to help them remember that. Let that sink in. Our children are not just in our lives for us to shape. They are here to shape us too. They stretch our patience. They test our limits. They stir up the deepest parts of ourselves we thought we had buried. And yes, sometimes they break us open. But that breaking isn't the end. It's the beginning of something softer, deeper, more true. So wherever you are on your parenting journey, Whether you are in the thick of sleepless nights, navigating the heartbreak of disconnection, or simply trying to do better than the generation before you, remember this. You were chosen. Not because you are perfect, not because you have figured it all out, but because your becoming is part of the story. Because your willingness to grow, to love, to try again, that's the medicine. You are not here by accident, and neither is your child. This relationship, no matter how complicated, how raw, or how sacred, is part of your soul's path. You are walking it together. Until next time, keep rising, keep healing, keep choosing love even when it's hard. And remember, the struggle isn't the end of the story. It is where the thriving begins. Until next time, ciao now.
Single parenting can feel like a solo journey, but it doesn't have to be. Introducing Mom Flex app, the ultimate village web app designed just for you. From financial support to community connections, Mom Flex app offers a lifeline, helping you navigate parenting with confidence. Find trusted resources, build your support network, and thrive, because every parent deserves a village. Join the movement today. Visit momflex.org to install the app and take the first step toward a stronger, more supported you.
Every day's a battle, every step a climb, but we're standing tall, we're building our lives. Through the sleepless nights and the endless fight, we rise, we shine, we hold on tight. We are more than the labels, more than the pain.